Hi, it's Sophia and welcome back to the Friendly Vet channel, and today we're going to be talking about how to keep your dog cool this summer. Obviously it's a topical subject, we're all melting right now, including me filming this video, so if my face is really sweaty, sorry about that. As some of you may know, dogs don't actually sweat, they can only cool down by panting, so that's another reason why they need lots of water available, because they'll get a really dry mouth from doing that, and that's also why they're not as good as cooling down as us with just a fan, for example, because they haven't got the water on them already. So you can help them out. For example, if you did give them a cold shower, you can then put a fan on them, and that will accelerate the cooling process. Especially as well if you've got a short-faced dog, they are not as good at panting as longer nosed breed of dogs, so just make sure that you are extra careful and you provide extra measures from this list for those sorts of dogs. Okay, so the first thing that you want to make sure is that the environment that your dog is in is cool enough temperature. So that includes walks. If you're walking them, obviously take them times a day where it's coolest, ideally first thing in the morning, like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, even earlier than that if it's already going to be quite warm at that time, and obviously keep the walk as short as it needs to be. If you want to walk as well, shaded areas and areas with water as well, make sure to bring your own water so your dog can also have a drink. And then inside the house, just make sure you've got fans, you've got a breeze coming through. If you've got aircon, that's great, just to make the area that your dog is in, a reasonable temperature. And then within the house, you also want to make sure that your dog's got a nice little place to cool off. So if they've got somewhere cool to lie down, like if you've got a tile floor, that's really good. If not, then you can get one of those special cooling mats on the floor and they can lie down on that when it's a bit too hot. And you can also, if you can't afford a mat or you haven't got one, I tried to get one today and they were all sold out because I lost my old one, but you can just wet a towel and put it on the floor. Speaking of wet towels, years ago there used to be advice to put the wet towel on top of your dog, but that's actually not good, because as you can imagine that would trap the heat in, so even though it's wet and it's cold, when you put it on after a while it makes it worse. So if you do want to put the towel on top of your dog, just sort of wipe them with it and then put it on the floor and they can lie on it if they want to. Okay, and the next thing that you want to do is provide them with fresh water, obviously at all times, which I'm sure you are already doing. But even more important when the heat, to obviously make sure that there's plenty of water, especially if you're going to be out for a while. Make sure your dog's got enough water to keep going until you get home. You can get all sorts of things like bowls where you put part of it in the freezer or in the fridge, something like that. You can also add ice cubes to the water to make it cooler, and you can add flavourings to the water to make it more palatable for your dog. So whether that's an electrolyte solution, hydration solution that you can get from the vets or from some pet shops, and you can also use either, when you get a can of tuna in spring water, you can drain that water out and use that in the water to make it a bit more of a treat for them. Or you can also cook some chicken, either boil it or cook it in the microwave and use the water that's left over for them to drink, because it's just a bit more tasty for them. You can also create cold food treats for them, either with their own food. You could put it in the fridge for a while before you feed it to them their normal meal, or you can create special treats either with fillable toys that you can fill with all kinds of different recipes and put it in the freezer for them, whether it's just peanut butter, whether it's their own wet food, or whether it's something like yogurt, something like that. If your dog is okay with that, they don't get an upset stomach, you can use that and put it in the freezer, and then when they have that treat they'll be nice and cool. You can also use like cool lick mats you can put in, or if you don't have anything like that, you can actually just use like an old tea towel. You can put whatever it is on it, like peanut butter or whatever, and then roll it up and then put it in the freezer. Maybe for that one, if your dog's prone to chewing things up and maybe eating them, then just keep an eye on them so they don't eat any bits of your old tea towel. And the final thing that I just wanted to mention is if you think your dog is getting a bit too hot and you're worried, or if you can't do some of the other things for some reason, so for example you need to take them out to go to the toilet but it's 30 degrees outside, and you just quickly need to get them out there, but by the time they get back in they're already panting and too hot, then you can just pop them under the shower, and if you just put it on cold, the coldest setting that it can be, and just rinse them off for about 30 seconds, that's a really good way to just quickly lower the body temperature. If your dog obviously doesn't stop looking overheated and in distress after about 30 seconds of doing that, then maybe think about giving your vet a call to see if they need to come in. But if they've stopped panting and they're looking more relaxed, then that's okay to just keep monitoring them at home. So I hope you guys enjoyed those tips. I hope there's something that you can use that can help you and your dog this summer to stay cool until we're back to some more reasonable temperatures. So thank you again. If you like this video, then consider liking and subscribing, and we'll hope to see you in the next one. Bye!